Hello everyone. So we will continue from here. That is part 2, chapter 16 of offenses affecting the human body, in which of offenses affecting life. So section 299, culpable homicide, 300, murder, and when culpable homicide is not murder. 301. 301 is culpable homicide by causing death of person other than person whose death was intended. 302. Punishment for murder. 303. Punishment for murder by life convict. 304. Punishment for culpable homicide not amounting to murder. 304A. Causing death by negligence. 304B. Dowry death. 305. Abatement of suicide of child or insane person. 306. Abatement of suicide. 307. Attempt to murder. Attempt by life convicts. 308. Attempt to commit culpable homicide. 309. Attempt to commit suicide. 310. Thug. 311. Punishment. Now, of the causing of miscarriage, of injuries to unborn children, of the exposure of infants, and of the concealment of births. So, section 312, causing miscarriage. 313, causing miscarriage without woman's consent. 314. Death caused by act done with intent to cause miscarriage, if act done without woman's consent. 315. Act done with intent to prevent child being born alive or to cause it to die after birth. 316. Causing death of quick unborn child by act amounting to culpable homicide. 317. Exposure and abandonment of child under 12 years by parent or person having care of it. 318. Concealment of birth by secret disposal of dead body. Now of heart. Section 319. Heart. 320. Grievous hurt. 321. Voluntarily causing hurt. 322. Voluntarily causing grievous hurt. 323. Punishment for voluntarily causing hurt. 324. Voluntarily causing hurt by dangerous weapon or means. 325. Punishment for voluntarily causing grievous hurt. 326. Voluntarily causing grievous hurt by dangerous weapon or means. 326A. Voluntarily causing grievous hurt by use of acid, etc. 326B. Voluntarily throwing or attempting to throw acid. 327. Voluntarily causing hurt to extort property or to constrain to an illegal act. 328. Causing hurt by means of poison, etc. with intent to commit an offense. 329. Voluntarily causing grievous hurt to extort property or to constrain to an illegal act. 330. Voluntarily causing hurt to extort confession or to compel restoration of property. 331. Voluntarily causing grievous hurt to extort confession or to compel restoration of property. 332. Voluntarily causing hurt to deter public servant from his duty. 333. Voluntarily causing grievous hurt to deter public servant from his duty. 334. Voluntarily causing hurt on provocation. 335. Voluntarily causing grievous hurt on provocation. 336. Act endangering life or personal safety of others. 337. Causing hurt by act endangering life or personal safety of others. 338. Causing grievous hurt by act endangering life or personal safety of others. Now of wrongful restraint and wrongful confinement. So section 339, wrongful restraint. 340, wrongful confinement. 341, punishment for wrongful restraint. 342, punishment for wrongful confinement. 343, wrongful confinement for 3 or more days. 344, wrongful confinement for 10 or more days. 345, wrongful confinement of person for whose liberation writ has been issued. 346, wrongful confinement in secret. 347, wrongful confinement to extort property or constrain to illegal act. 348, wrongful confinement to extort confession or to compel restoration of property. Now of criminal force and assault. 349, section 349, force. 350, criminal force. 351, assault. 352, punishment for assault or criminal force otherwise than on grave provocation. 353, assault or criminal force to deter public servant from discharge of his duty. 354, assault or criminal force to woman with intent to outrage her modesty. 354A, sexual harassment and punishment for sexual harassment. 354B, assault or use of criminal force to women with intent to disrobe. 354C, voyeurism. 354D, stalking. 355, assault or criminal force with intent to dishonor person otherwise than on grave provocation. 356, assault or criminal force to attempt to commit theft of property carried by a person. 357, assault or criminal force in attempting wrongfully to confine a person. 358, assault or criminal force on grave provocation of kidnapping, abduction, slavery, and forced labor. Section 359, kidnapping. Kidnapping is of two kinds. 360, kidnapping from India. 361, kidnapping from lawful guardianship. 362, abduction. 363, punishment for kidnapping. 363A, kidnapping or miming a minor for purpose of begging. 364, kidnapping or abduction in order to murder. 364A, kidnapping for ransom, etc. 365, kidnapping or abducting with intent, secretly and wrongfully to confine person. 366, kidnapping, abducting or inducing woman to compel her marriage, etc. 366A, procuration of minor girl. 360B, importation of girl from foreign country. 367, kidnapping or abducting in order to subject person to grievous hurt, slavery, etc. 368, wrongfully concealing or keeping in confinement kidnapped or abducted person. 369, kidnapping or abducting child under 10 years with intent to steal from its person. 370, trafficking of person. 370A, exploitation of a trafficked person. 371, habitual dealing in slave. 372, selling minor for purpose of prostitution, etc. 373. Buying minor for purpose of prostitution, etc. 374. Unlawful compulsory labor. Now, sexual offences. Section 375. Rape. 376. Punishment for rape. 376A. Punishment for causing death or resulting in persistent vegetative state of victim. 376B. Sexual intercourse by husband upon his wife during separation. 376C. Sexual intercourse by a person in authority. 376D. Gang rape. 376E. Punishment for repeat offender of unnatural offences. Section 377. Unnatural offences. Now, Chapter 17 of Offence against Property of Theft. So, Section 378. Theft. 379. Punishment for theft. 380. Theft in dwelling house, etc. 381. Theft by clerk or servant of property in possession of master. 382. Theft after preparation made for causing death, hurt, or restraint in order to committing of the theft. Of extortion. Section 383. Extortion. 384. Punishment for extortion. 385. Putting person in fear of injury in order to commit extortion. 386. Extortion by putting a person in fear of death or grievous hurt. 387. Putting a person in fear of death or of grievous hurt in order to commit extortion. 388. Extortion by threat of accusation of an offence punishable with death or imprisonment for life, etc. 389. Putting a person in fear of accusation of offence in order to commit extortion. Now, of robbery and dacoity. Section 390. Robbery. So, when theft is robbery, when extortion is robbery. 391. Dacoity. 392. Punishment for robbery. 393. Attempt to commit robbery. 394. Voluntarily causing hurt in committing robbery. 395. Punishment for dacoity. 396. Dacoity with murder. 397. Robbery or dacoity with attempt to cause death or grievous hurt. 398. Attempt to commit robbery or dacoity when armed with deadly weapon. 399. Making preparation to commit dacoity. 400. Punishment for belonging to gang of dacoits. 401. Punishment for belonging to gang of thieves. 402. Assembling for purpose of committing dacoity. Now, of criminal misappropriation of property. So, 403. Dishonest misappropriation of property. 404. Dishonest misappropriation of property possessed by deceased person at the time of his death. Now, of criminal breach of trust. So, Section 406, that is 406, punishment for criminal breach of trust. 407, criminal breach of trust by carrier, etc. 408, criminal breach of trust by clerk or servant. 409, criminal breach of trust by public servant or by banker, merchant, or agent. Now, of the receiving of stolen property. Section 410, stolen property. 411, dishonestly receiving stolen property. 412, dishonestly receiving property stolen in the commission of a dacoity. 413, habitually dealing in stolen property. 414, assisting in concealment of stolen property. Now, of cheating. Section 415, cheating. 416, cheating by personation. 417, punishment for cheating. 418, cheating with knowledge that wrongful loss may ensue to person whose interest offender is bound to protect. 419. Punishment for cheating by personation. 420. Cheating and dishonestly inducing delivery of property. Now, fraudulent deed or deposition of property. Section 421. Dishonest or fraudulent removal or concealment of property to prevent distribution among creditors. Dishonestly 422. Dishonestly or fraudulently preventing debt being available for creditor. 423. Dishonest or fraudulent execution of deed of transfer containing false statement of consideration. 424. Dishonest or fraudulent removal or concealment of property. Now, of mischief. Section 2, 425. Mischief. Section 426. Punishment for mischief. 427. Mischief causing damage to the amount of 50 rupees. 428. Mischief by killing or maiming animal of the value of 10 rupees. 429. Mischief by killing or maiming cattle etc. of any value or any animal of the value of 50 rupees. 430. Mischief by injury to works of irrigation or by wrongfully diverting water. 431. Mischief by injury to public road, bridge, river or channel. 432. Mischief by causing inundation or obstruction to public drainage attended with damage. 433. Mischief by destroying, moving or rendering less useful a lighthouse or sea mark. 434. Mischief by destroying or moving etc. a landmark fixed by public authority. 435. Mischief by fire or explosive substances with intent to cause damage to amount of 100 or in case of agriculture produce 10 rupees. 436. Mischief by fire or explosive substances with intent to destroy house etc. 437. Mischief with intent to destroy or make unsafe a decayed vessel or one of 20-ton burden. 438. Punishment for the mischief described in section 437. 439. Punishment for intentionally running vessels around a ground or a shore with intent to commit theft, etc. 440. Mischief committed after preparation made for causing death or hurt. Now of criminal trespass. So section 441. Criminal trespass. 442. House trespass. 443. Lurking house trespass. 444. Lurking house trespass by night. 445. House breaking. 446. House breaking by night. 447. Punishment for criminal trespass. 448. Punishment for house trespass. 449. House trespass in order to commit offence punishable with death. 450. House trespass in order to commit offence punishable with imprisonment for life. 451. House trespass in order to commit offence punishable with imprisonment. 452. House trespass after preparation for hurt, assault or wrongful restraint. 453. Punishment for lurking house trespass or house breaking. 454. Lurking house trespass or house breaking in order to commit offence punishable with imprisonment. 455. Lurking house trespass or house breaking after preparation of hurt, assault or wrongful restraint. 456. Punishment for lurking, house trespass or housebreaking by night. 457. Lurking, house trespass or housebreaking by night in order to commit offense punishable with imprisonment. 458. Lurking, house trespass or housebreaking by night after preparation of hurt, assault or wrongful restraint. 459. Grievous hurt caused whilst committing lurking, house trespass or housebreaking. 460. All persons jointly concerned in lurking, house trespass or housebreaking by night punishable where death or grievous hurt caused by one of them. 461. Dishonestly breaking open receptacle containing property. 462. Punishment for same offense when committed by a person entrusted with custody. So now chapter 18 of offense relating to documents and of property marks. So section 463 forgery. 464 making a false document. 465 punishment for forgery. 466 forgery of record of court or of public register, etc. 467 forgery of valuable security, bill, etc. 468 forgery for purpose of cheating. 469 forgery for purpose of harming reputation. 470 forged document. 471 using as genuine a forged document. 472 making or processing counterfeit seal, etc. with intent to commit forgery punishable under section 467. 473 making or processing counterfeit seal, etc. with intent to commit forgery punishable otherwise. 474 having possession of document described in section 466 or 467, knowing it to be forged and intending to use it as genuine. 475 counterfeiting device or mark used for authenticating document described in section 467 or processing counterfeit mark material. 476 counterfeiting device or mark used for authenticating documents other than those described in section 467 or processing counterfeit mark material. 477 fraudulent cancellation, destruction, etc. of bill authority to adopt or valuable security. 477A falsification of accounts. Now of property and other marks. Section 478 repealed. 479 property mark. 480 also repealed. Section 481 using a false property mark. 482 punishment for causing a false property mark. 483 counterfeiting a property mark used by another. 484 counterfeiting a mark used by a public servant. 485 making or possession of any instrument for counterfeiting a property mark. 486 selling goods marked with a counterfeit property mark. 487 making a false mark upon any receptacles containing goods. 488 punishment for making use of any such false mark. 489 tampering with property mark with intent to cause injury. Of currency note and bank notes. So section 489A counterfeiting currency note or bank note. 489B using as genuine forged or counterfeit currency notes or bank notes. 489C possession of forged or counterfeit currency notes or bank notes. 489D making or processing instruments or material for forging or counterfeiting currency notes or banknotes. 489E. Making or using documents resembling currency notes or banknotes. Now chapter 19 of the criminal breach of contract of servant. So section 490 repealed. 491 breach of contract to attend on and supply wants of helpless person. 492 also repealed. Now chapter 20 of offense relating to marriage. So section 493 cohabitation caused by a man deceitfully inducing a belief of lawful marriage. 494 marrying again during lifetime of husband or wife. 495 same offense with concealment of former marriage from person with whom subsequent marriage is contracted. 496 marriage ceremony fraudulently gone through without lawful marriage. 497 adultery. 498 intixing or taking away or detaining with criminal intent a married woman. Now chapter 20A of courtesy by husband or relative of husband. Section 498A husband or relative of husband of a woman subjecting her to curtility. So now chapter 21 of defamation. So section 499 defamation. 500 punishment for defamation. 501 printing or engraving matter known to be defamatory. 402 sale or printed or engraved substance containing defamatory matter. Now chapter 22 of criminal intimidation, insult and annoyance. So section 503 is criminal intimidation. 504 intentional insult with intent to provoke breach of a peace. 505 statements conducing to public mischief. 506 punishment for criminal intimidation. 507 criminal intimidation by an anonymous communication. Yes. 508 act caused by inducing person to believe that he will be rendered an object of the divine displeasure. 509 word, gesture or act intended to insult the modesty of a woman. 510 misconduct in public by a drunken person. Chapter 23, that is last chapter, of attempts to commit offences. So section 511 punishment for attempting to commit offences punishable with imprisonment for life or other punishments, other imprisonment. That is 511 end of this all sections, that is IPC covered. Hope you all remember these all sections by listening again and again. And on my side, good luck to you all people. All the very best.